Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the fuse so I can bring bad news to all these crews who can't NBA jam with the shoe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a quick beer review. Another Treehouse beer, courtesy of my man James. Appreciate you, sir. This is Incredible Machine. And I'm guessing this is the maybe Imperial version of Juice Machine. Does that sound right? Maybe? Guessing? Don't know. Per the label, American Double IPA, 8.8% alcohol by volume. Brewed in Massachusetts by Treehouse Brewing Company. They're in Charlton, they are in Munson, they are in Sandwich, they are in Cape Cod. They're a distillery, they make seltzers, they're fucking building hotels, they buy golf courses. Treehouse is just like, what are they? They're massive. We just reviewed the Greener Grain last night and it blew my mind. Fantastic beer. And I'm hoping this beer is the same. So that beer said that it was brewed in Charlton. This just says brewed in Massachusetts, so I don't know where this beer was brewed, but it says Robot Fuel. It was canned on June 10th. Today is June 25th, so right about 2 weeks in the can, which is when I used to drink Treehouse regularly. 2 weeks is when I really, really like Treehouse beers. Between 2 and 4 weeks. Didn't really like them super fresh. Always liked when they sat. That's kind of the thing with all hazy beers for me. I like them with age on them because so many of them are super hopped, and I just like when they kind of mellow out a little bit. So let's check it out, shall we? I could smell it as soon as I cracked it. We're off to a good start into the Treehouse glassware because you guys know beer tastes better in proper glassware. This beer looks just like the greenest green did. Doesn't look great to me, might look better on camera, and a massive head. I'm not pouring these beers super aggressive. That one's not. I think this glass is a little bit more forgiving. It's more of like that tulip style glass. The Willy glass that we used last night, I mean, it was 2 fingers and hung out forever. It was nuts. This is 1.5 fingers. Same thing though, super creamy, fluffy, marshmallowy. But this beer is really butternut squashy to me. Hop cum, as we like to say. People laugh every time I say that for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why it's funny. I'm just kidding. I know why it's funny. But yeah, back in the day, Juice Machine used to be one of my favorite Treehouse beers. I've had it since, and it's not my favorite anymore. It's just been really inconsistent. I will say we reviewed Juice Machine, and that beer was fantastic. So, hoping this one's good. I could smell it. Let's shove our fat nose in it. See what it's got. Fuck me. We are back to back, just incredible noses. This beer smells like a bowl of fruit salad. Holy smokes. Pineapple-y, peachy, stone fruity, like sweet citrus. Again with this one, that just classic Treehouse. Like, dude, Treehouse. Nobody from Treehouse watches these reviews anymore. They used to. That was fun back in the day, like 2015-ish. I would like message people on Facebook about the reviews that I was doing of their beer. Like, let's just do this. Let's brew beer like this again. This is, I said it last night, this is reminding me of when Treehouse was the best brewery in the world and they were just absolutely annihilating everyone else's beer. Like, that's what this smells like. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm telling you, if hazy beers smelled like this and tasted like how that beer last night tasted, I'd probably start drinking them regularly all the time. They're just so overdone now and so fucking yeasty and like chalky. Like, this is fruit. Gosh, it smells so good. Let's go and taste it. James, cheers. Thanks, bro. Okay, this beer, interesting. I mean, you could tell it's heavily hopped. Super bitter citrus rind on the finish of this beer. It is digging into my tongue. It's staying there. The nose of this beer is much better than the taste. And that's not to say that the taste isn't great, but like if you could just sit and smell this and like swim in it, you'd be stoked. Fuck, I was hoping it was going to taste exactly what it smelled like. It, like, there's no hint of West Coast in this at all, but when you drink it, it gives you that biting bitterness. It's so hoppy, you can tell. But much like it smells, it's super fruity. Very much fruit basket. Like I said, when you get like a fruit salad, that's what it tastes like. But the kind of like the juice aspect of it, the fruit aspect, it's there on the front of your tongue with like the tangerine-y, pineapple-y, stone fruity thing. But as soon as this beer goes middle of your palate and finishes, it just gets biting, and it's bitter grapefruit rind. It's very pithy, super pithy, and it's not going away. And it kind of takes away from, it does take away from like the fruit juice aspect of the front of this beer. This beer is not as balanced as the Greenest Green was, or Greenest Green, Greener Green. What was that beer called? But this beer is much more for people who like intense biting. Like if I were to drink this blind, I would have said this is probably a heavily hopped monkish beer. It has that. It's still on my tongue. It has that biting bitterness that just does not go away. This is aggressively hoppy, and it's kind of a bummer. Like I know they're doing that, and that's the reason why it smells so good. I just wish that it could have kept like that fruit juice note from like that it hits you right in the front of your tongue all the way through, but it just doesn't. Again, it's not bad. It just, if this beer could have, it gives you that crazy orange juice after you brush your teeth, bitterness kind of a thing that I mentioned in a lot of heavily hopped hazy beers. I will say this beer doesn't go super yeasty, so I like that. But I could see as this beer warmed even more, it might get into that heartburny kind of a thing, just because it's so fucking hoppy. Not a bad beer. The nose is absolutely 1,000 out of 100, but the taste doesn't quite follow with what it smells like. If they could have made this beer taste the way it smelled, I mean, it'd be pants off for sure. But again, not a bad beer. This beer is, I mean, it's good. It's just, after drinking Greenest Green, I mean, that beer, Greenest Green for me is better than this beer. Just because it took that juicy treehouse, like yeasty fruit stripe bubblegum thing that you smelled, and it was like that the entire time you drank it. This has that in the beginning of it, but it gets really fucking bitter on the back end. But I could see people liking that. It's getting even more as it's warmed in this garage. It's warm today, but I mean, this is still top tier haze for me. Man, if it could taste the way that it smelled. The nose of this is unbelievable. So, fun beer to drink. I like it. It's just, I think Greener Green was better. That beer is still fresh in my mind. So it'd be interesting to see what other people think who had both of them. So that is Incredible Machine. James, I appreciate you sharing it. Fun beer to drink. If they could somehow, some way make this beer taste the way that it smells, this would be like tip-top, world-class, top-titty kind of a hazy beer. So that is it. I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Cheers.
Thank you for coming behind the bar, in the arcade, all that shit.
Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the fuse so I can bring bad news to all these crews who can't NBA jam with the shoe.